name is Patrick McNair, and I'm your host of This Is Real. This is Raleigh. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what this show is about. We're going to have a great time interviewing several guests from across the wide, diverse population of Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary, just this area, which is my home, the Triangle, Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been in Raleigh, North Carolina since 1987. Relocated here at 12 years old from a small town of Fremont, Michigan, where things were quite different in my world in Michigan. And quite honestly, I've raised here, raised my kids here, grown, developed, learned a lot about life and people here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I have a passion for that. I have a passion for this area. I have a passion for seeing great things in this area. I've had an opportunity to explore the world. During my time in the United States Marine Corps, I spent 8 years serving this country and being able to see the world from a different perspective, right? Young black male, traveling the world, seeing things, experiencing things like most people my age or from where I was at just didn't have an opportunity to do. I've been to places like Japan or Bulgaria or Spain or Italy or Africa and Canada and just places like that, and just seeing and realizing and experiencing what's here for us to enjoy. And I keep coming back to Raleigh, North Carolina. And why? Why do I keep coming back to Raleigh, North Carolina when I've had the chance to experience, all these great things across this world? To me, there are several different factors, and I want to be able to share that with you, said audience. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you or how you've stumbled across my channel or this podcast, but I do want to expose the greatness of this city, the greatness that is Raleigh, the greatness that is our small piece of the earth here in North Carolina. So from time to time, you will see certain guests who I've met before, interacted with, who I have a business or personal relationship with. And then other times you will see complete strangers, people that I do not know. I do not know their backstory, but they play an integral part of making up this city, Raleigh, North Carolina. As you interact and engage and consume this media that we're going to produce here at the Raleigh Podcast Studio, if you see that you can interact with us, please do. We'd like to hear your feedback. We'd like to engage with you, the audience. We would also love to have you as a guest on our show, because Raleigh is not just made from Patrick's perspective. Raleigh is so much more diverse, so much more great because you're here. And let's help tell your story. So whether you're a business owner, whether you're a clergy person, whether you're an artist, whether that be visual, whether that be audio, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a mom and pop who are just trying to make it, whether you're a single parent, whether you're a multi-parent household, whether you're a leader of youth, whether you're a leader of people or individuals or military personnel, we'd love to be able to tell your story. So I invite you to come and interact with us. I'd also like to welcome you to be a sponsor to this show. There are costs associated with creating a podcast, as I'm sure many of you are aware. But this platform is very unique. It's very intentional about who we're reaching out to. And this may be a platform where you're able to expose your product, your service, your good graces to the multitude of people who will consume this podcast as we grow. We are brand new at this. This is very informal. I do not like the formality of television shows. I don't like the formality of always doing the same thing, the same intro, the same outro every time. So you won't see me doing that, but you will see an authentic production, very laid back. I'm not putting on makeup, right? I might get a haircut, I might shave, I might wear a shirt that's pressed, but I'm not doing that TV production. Hey, we got to do it exactly right. But what you will see is authentic perspectives. You will see honest answers. You will see an audience that engages with us here at This Is Real, This Is Raleigh. So I encourage you all to sit back, to engage, to relax, to get involved with This Is Real, This Is Raleigh. A little bit more about me and where I come from. When we moved here in 1987, we moved to a neighborhood called Method. It's over in Raleigh. It's over in West Raleigh. And it's off of Method Road over near NC State, Western Boulevard area. And Method is a historically black community. It is a community that was founded by slaves or former slaves way back in the day. And at that time, back in 1987, there was a lot of poverty in that area. A lot of the classmates that I had, who I grew up with, went to school with, played basketball with, played football with, hung out with, some of those people never made it out. Some of those people were born, lived, and actually died not going further from those parts of the city, that neighborhood. And then there's the other side of it, where there are a lot of us who made it out, who thrived, who exceeded expectations, who were able to go and travel the world and see different things and explore different places, and really took from our experiences that we learned and took part in on those streets and carried that with us. And we hold that true. We hold that proudly, that we are from Method, from Raleigh, North Carolina. And so fast forward a few years, I talked about it a few moments ago, where I did spend some time in the United States Marine Corps, traveling the world, serving the country. And I've seen a lot of things. I've seen some things. I've seen poverty on a whole nother level, whether that be in Bulgaria, whether that be on the coast of Africa and Tunisia, or other places. There is another side of the coin, so to speak, where there are places in this world where you visit and you take in that image or those experiences, and they will never leave you. Right? I've been to some of those places, and yet I come back here to Raleigh, North Carolina. In Raleigh, I feel like what makes Raleigh Raleigh is the people, the climate, the access, either 2 hours this way, 2 hours that way. You can get to certain places and certain features of the state or the coast. But Raleigh is almost that sweet spot for me. For me, it's like right in the middle, right? Perfect. Right there. Raleigh is not perfect. I don't think any place on this world that I've experienced is the perfect place to be. But for me, in what I like, in my comfort, that's why I like Raleigh. And I want to shout that from the mountaintops that I'm Raleigh, 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 And for me, Raleigh is a great place to grow, whether that be professionally, whether that be in your family, your spiritual life, your health life, your entrepreneurial life. There are just so many opportunities here in this area for people who want to do something, who want to progress in life, who want to advance their careers or to raise that family. There are just so many opportunities. And at the same time, there are opportunities for improvement. Raleigh is an area that is growing and growing leaps and bounds. There are always developers or people who have interest in developing this area, and they have a certain perspective that they would want to see it grow and develop. And sometimes that's at a faster pace than a lot of us locals or almost natives or the natives can tolerate. So Raleigh is definitely changing, whether that be the talk of a professional soccer team or the talk of a professional football team or baseball team or this next arena or this big thing or this big high rise. There's always someone trying to make a change to the landscape here in Raleigh. Again, it takes all of us to make sure that our voices are heard when it comes to that type of development and talk. And so this is a platform where, again, I'm inviting you, John Q. Public, to come and expose, experience, explain maybe your perspective on how you can see things changing or not changing that's going to be beneficial to this area. Kids, if we're not thinking about kids and the people who are coming behind us in this life, then we're wrong. That's my perspective. That's my stance. And so you'll see a lot of questions as we engage with guests during these episodes about kids, about education, about the future of this country, about the future of this area, and what we can do to make things better. Because we have to be good stewards. We have to be good stewards of this area. We have to be good stewards of the land. We have to be good stewards of resources. But it's not for us, right? We're here, we're living, we're thriving. But the people who come behind us, what are we leaving for them? And so I want to make sure that I cast emphasis on those types of discussions when we talk with the various guests who you'll see on these episodes. A few other guests that we're going to have are going to be educational in nature. They're going to be educating and sharing their experiences, whether that be about building a business, whether that be about building a house, whether that be about incorporating different things or different experiences in their life here in Raleigh or in the surrounding area. But it comes from a place of, let me share some positives, let me share some nuggets, let me share some information that may make it better for someone else. And that's a big key, making sure that we are providing information that's helpful, that's factual, but that comes from a perspective of someone else that is here locally in Raleigh. If you're curious as to how we got started, I'm sitting here right now today in the Raleigh Podcast Studio, and we're located at 313 East Martin Street, downtown Raleigh. And this is a place where people who have a vision, have a message, have content within them can come, share, and create content here at the Raleigh Podcast Studio. And hopefully by me creating this podcast and producing it and publishing it, I'm able to show someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's your buddy, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your employee, that they too have a voice that has value and they can share whatever it is on their heart. I've talked to a lot of people over the last several months who have a desire to create a podcast. And it's just something that's burning inside of them. They just have to get it out. And they have yet to walk through that door. The door is open. Knock. Reach out to myself. Reach out to the good folks over at Raleigh Podcast Studio. Let's get you in here so that your voice, your message, your creation, your content can be enjoyed by others. It doesn't just happen that you saw this message today. It doesn't just happen that you're going to be going to sleep tonight thinking about ringing in your ears. Go create content. Go create content. The door is open. We're here for you. When I was in the third grade, I had a teacher, her name was Mrs. Downey, and she looked at me and she says, Patrick, one day you're going to write a book. I'm in the 3rd grade, right? I barely talk. I'm a very shy kid. I am the only black kid in the class, and myself and my little brother are the only 2 black kids in the entire school, right? So if that tells you anything. So for this woman to tell me, a 3rd grader, that I'm going to write a book in my life, that was a very, very profound and prophetic statement that she put on my life. And I'm the type of person, I listened and I heard what she was saying, and I've always carried that with me. I've not written the book yet, but maybe this podcast is a form of the book that I'm writing, because I will get to share my experiences from my life, whether that be my military service, whether that be my college career, whether that be my entrepreneurial career, whether that be what I'm doing in esports over at Wake Tech right now. But whatever it is, I'm able to now share those nuggets of information. And I think they're great stories. Maybe you don't think they're great stories, but I think they're great stories with John Q. or Jane Q. Public, right? And so, again, 3rd grade teacher putting it out in the universe, putting it in my head that you are going to write a book. And so I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to pass that same thing on to you. My public, you have the opportunity to create content. Come and create content. Come and share a piece of you with the world. All right? The door is open. Let's talk about a few other things that are going to be available here. We're probably going to have some panel discussions, right? There are several professionals that I have in my network that I would love to get in front of the camera, whether that be chiropractic, dental, doctors, physical therapists, mental therapists, social therapists, substance abuse, counselors, insurance agents, that I'm going to be calling on, life coaches, business coaches, that I'm going to be calling on to share some of the things that they encounter here in Raleigh or in the surrounding area, but also professionally. And so that they can share their information with you, because unless you're exposed to it, you don't know, right? We don't know. And so I'm hoping to get that word out, that message out to you. I'm also going to be sharing content from creators, because there is a need to share that creative side of Raleigh with other creators. There are people who are brilliant. They can come up with some brilliant visuals or audible pieces that will just blow your mind. And how are they able to flourish here in Raleigh? Are they able to flourish here in Raleigh? Is Raleigh a place that's fertile for the development of creators or creative people? Or should they be thinking about going somewhere else? Or what can we do to cultivate that aspect of society here in Raleigh, North Carolina? So a lot of things. There's a whole spectrum of things that I have yet to cover, yet to talk about. But I'm counting on you, my public, to reach out, give us a shout, and let us know, hey, I want to see this on your episode. Or Patrick, I'd love for you to be able to interview my pastor, interview my boss, interview some of the kids here at this school, and bring them in so that their story can be highlighted, can be exposed. I'd also love to get some law enforcement individuals here. I'd love to be able to get some high profile, whether that be Highway Patrol, Raleigh Police, Sheriff's Department in here, just to talk about some of the issues that are, present today in our society, whether that be speeding on that 440 super highway, super speedway that we have to crawl around every day, whether that be some politicians. Let's get them in here. City council, commissioners, etc. Some local legislators to get them in there to talk about their visions for the city. So there's a lot of things that we can do with this show, but it only works if you guys tune in. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you're sharing this channel, our social media, with your family, with your friends, and also let us know that you're listening, right? We're real people. I'm not some puffed up, overzealous. I'm not some obnoxious dude. I'm just a regular dude, right? I'm just trying to spread my piece, my perspective of Raleigh and the surrounding area with you. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, we'll find something else for you to like. But thank you guys for taking the time. Time is one of those things that you can't get back. So I acknowledge that. I appreciate that. And I want to make sure that you understand that I do not take your time lightly. I'm doing this so that hopefully there can be some positive that's generated, that's created, that's fostered in this community. Because one thing that we sure are short of in this society is kindness and positive nature around the world today. And so if we can provide just a little bit more positivity, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more of insight into someone else's perspective, then maybe, just maybe, the world would be a better place. So again, rock on, rock on, rock on. This is real. This is Raleigh, and I'm your host, Patrick McNair. Thank you.